Welcome to the show. Now please strap in for the truth and remember the words of the great Tom Cruise.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Now welcome to Off Topic on Porn.
All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever this may find you, OTOP family. We are back. It is getting ready to be New Year's. We've just finished Christmas, so we will wish you a happy holidays. We hope you had a Merry Christmas. Getting ready for a Happy New Year. It's a weird way to wish everybody whatever. Russell, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good, Rob, and hope you had a happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas.
I did, and I hope
know
you
that
did
you
too.
did, but and then of course, Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too, my friend. We are back with another episode, and so hopefully everybody's going to have a wonderful New Year's. And you know, New Year's brings
Yes.
about, and I don't really do them, Russell, necessarily, but everybody's always asking, and so we're going to ask you always, as always. We'll get this out of the way early. Please please subscribe. If you have any questions or you'd like to get a hold of us, you can do so in the comments. We always try to respond, or at least we read them.
Yes.
And share, bring somebody into the OTOP family, and always, if you'd like to get a hold of us personally, please use the OTOP email. It's OTOP now, NOW, at gmail.com. And we would love to talk to you there as well. And also in the comments, you can answer this question with us if you'd like. So, Russell, do you have any New Year's resolutions that you're going to be putting into play?
Just one. I'm somebody that usually doesn't do New Year's resolutions.
Right.
I resolve not to have any resolutions, but no, this year I'm going to resolve to be particularly focused on my workout and diet. I've actually done a lot of that already in 2025, and so I want to be, I guess, have a more consistent schedule. And I think I've got a life situation now where I can do that. So, yeah, that's it. Focus on my health. The older I get, the more I realize I have to really think about that. So,
Yeah.
and then do something about it.
Yeah, no, I've already, so it's not a resolution because I've already started all that. But I will say this, and I don't do resolutions either because I'm like, you either do it or you don't. And if you need the new year to do that, I always feel like, well, so no, but
Why
in the
hold
new
it
year,
off till January 1, right?
why not just start it now? But no,
Right.
I've also started, and I really started trying to be much more consistent. Just in the time and in the depth of just my study of the
Mhm.
word. You know what I mean, in the depth, and also reading other things. And this is going to sound really weird because we're on a podcast, so people are watching it and using their phones probably or their computers, but actually trying to get back to physical books, not reading them
Oh,
online, but actually using the physical
yeah.
holding a book in my hand. You know, it's
Some of
interesting.
these things, right?
Right, exactly. But they've actually done studies, and this is interesting, and this is way off topic. But they've done studies where they have shown that you retain more when you actually read and you're holding the book as opposed to a digital device. So I'm going to make sure, because I want to retain as much of the word and the Lord's word in my mind as I can. So I'm going to try to start reading that more. There are times, when I don't want to travel. I don't want my Bibles getting all scuffed up, smashed up, or bent up in my, if I'm traveling. So I'll just use my phone or iPad or whatever. But I really want to, like, especially because we're at home, it's not like I'm not famous or anything, so I don't travel all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We go on vacations and stuff, but for the most part, when I'm home, I want to use the written word. And it's all written, but I'm saying the physical, Bibles and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that. And then I
Yeah.
have some books that I really want to dive into this year. And so I'm trying to actually, I've got them on my desk, and I've got them, they're not just all strewn, but they're like, I want to go through the shelf of, there's some books that I have, and I love books. So I'm going to actually try to read them and not
Yeah.
just read them
I
on
do
Kindle
too.
or whatever. So,
You know I love books, so
oh yeah,
yeah.
we both share an affinity for books.
Absolutely.
So it should be,
We both like books and food and
yes,
sleep.
yes, we do. So it'll be an interesting year as we go through to see if we can, accomplish the goals we're already starting. We're not waiting for the new year, but you know, for our OTOP family, tell us what your New Year's resolutions are, and we'll see how
Yeah.
we do. As we go through
Yeah.
the year.
Love to hear those.
Love to hear those. Love to see those. But any special or funny memories or instances that happened over the holiday for you, Russell, that you want to share?
Yeah, before I go there, if I could just reiterate something you said at the very beginning of the episode here. Uh, if everyone, this is just to underscore what Rob has said and what we say every week. If you would do us the kindness, those of you who are regular watchers of this, if you would share this with friends and not just share it with them, but maybe give them an encouragement a word of encouragement to tune in. One of the things I'd like to see in 2026 is this podcast explode in its numbers. And as we have both said before, this isn't to put us out there. Frankly, I don't want myself out there all that much, but I think that what we have to share needs to be replicated. And I think it needs you know, our message in the podcast here week to week can be combined with the messages of other good podcasters out there who have a sound message. And together in unison, we're able to get the important information that this nation and this world needs out there. And let's face it, most people are not able to do the research or not able to look up the information that a few of us can. And so it's our job. I think it's our moral responsibility to get the word out, whether it's the biblical word, or whether it's the word about current events, what's happening to the nation, what's happening in the world, as we've tried to be faithful to do these recent months. So I would just really ask very humbly, and I would encourage you, if you're friends of ours, if you're family, if you're people who associate with us, or if you're someone we don't even know, but you've discovered this podcast and it's been a blessing to you, it's been helpful to you, please help us spread the word. Okay, so there's that. That's my commercial for our podcast, Rob.
There you go.
As far as anything interesting that happened, actually, it was a fairly mild holiday, but it was a very enjoyable one. I will say one thing that I personally found rather encouraging is I noticed there are neighborhoods that are putting up decorations, lights, etc., and doing it in mass. And you can actually, I remember when I was a kid, we used to drive through a community like there's one here in San Antonio, or in the San Antonio area, called Windcrest, and my parents would take us there and we'd drive through and we'd spend an hour or more just looking at the lights up and down the streets and the artistry of the decorations that people put together. And when you go house to house to house to house to house and they're all together and they're all doing something, it makes a block look phenomenal.
It does.
And what really encouraged me was the number of homes I saw that decorated, that put lights out, and then they put something like a nativity or a message that is reflective of the actual true meaning of Christmas.
Yep.
That was very encouraging to me. I saw one house that had a big, it was like a banner.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very stiff banner, and it had in three, and it was like it was split up into three, almost like comic book frames.
Right.
It was in three frames. It gave the message of the nativity with regard, and it was all just pictorial. It was not, there were no words. It was just a picture. It was just in picture form, and it gave the story in picture form of the shepherds and of what happened in the nativity barn itself.
Wow.
And of the magi, the wise men.
That's very cool.
It was so impressive. So
That's
anyway,
well
I could say I'm saying too much probably, but that was really encouraging to me.
Well, see, that's interestingly, that brings up a memory for me. When I was a kid, I lived in Fresno, California. And so in Fresno, we would drive at Christmas, and there was these, it was in the, called the more affluent part of town, but there was these two places, and one was called Christmas Tree Lane, and the other was called Candy Cane Lane. And the
I think I've
people
heard of that.
the people on these one street was affectionately, it wasn't the street name, okay, but it was
Okay.
called Christmas Tree Lane, okay, and then the other, I don't remember what the street name was, but it was called Candy Cane Lane, and affectionately in that sense, and you would pay like $3 or $4 or whatever. I mean, these people lived in HOAs and all that other stuff, but they had agreed that they would all decorate. And I mean, when I say decorate, buddy, it's just like you're talking about. And you would drive, and it wasn't 3 or 4 houses. I mean, this was almost a mile long. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it was,
Yeah.
and I mean, it was decked out. And you would go down, and you'd go real slow down the street, and I mean, these houses were decked out. And what was interesting, even, my dad was my brother and my Little League coach. One of the coaches that he had as an assistant coach one time, his job, at least in the winter, okay, as it got to closer to Christmas, he was a professional. This is how much was. He was a professional like light guy. Like he would go and he would build these things with Christmas lights, like do these displays with the lights. And I mean, and he would some of his biggest customers were the people who lived on Christmas Tree Lane and Candy Cane Lane. So I mean, when you said that people do that, yeah, there's some places. I mean, you remember, the movie National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, the Chevy Chase's house. You know what I mean? The Griswold house.
Yeah.
There were houses that were like the Griswold house. I mean, it just had so many lights, and it was just so well done. The stuff that they do, and we've gone to different places. Like when we were in Myrtle Beach, we've been to different places, and there's all these houses, or there's all these places where they do the lights to music, and they do the lights to all these different things. We actually, in the town we live in, the rec center does it, and they have all of it in the big field, and it's all of these different lights, and they're all going to the music that's playing. That they have a special radio station you can tune in, and all the music that is Christmas carols, and all the lights. When the songs change, they just basically go to the lights, and I mean, it's really, really well done. When it's done right, it's really, really nice. So
Yeah, it really is. I agree,
Yeah.
brother.
so that's how I'm not a big, and this is gonna you can you can destroy me in the comments, and it's really okay. I'm fine with it. I'm not a big Christmas Carol person. I'm just not. You know what I mean? I will when I say I will allow, I don't mind the hymn, what I call hymnal Christmas carols. I have a really hard time not liking "Oh Come All You Faithful" or "Joy to the World," or the ones that really bespeak and speak of Jesus is coming,
Yeah.
and how "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." But I'm not a big Santa Baby or Jingle Bells, or those just I'm not a big fan.
Well, I'm with you on that.
You can
and
destroy
I'm
me in the
sure a lot of
comments and
people
disagree,
are.
and that is okay, and it's fine. But when it's done to the lights, I can kind of deal with it a little bit more. But I just also, what gets me is we're playing Christmas carols in October now. You know what I'm saying? I just get tired.
Yeah.
I get tired of Christmas carols. I really do. But now
I'm
that
looking
it's
around here, but I think I must have it downstairs. But I actually found a Christmas Carol book that you open it up and it's got Christmas carols, and it's got the origin story of each Christmas Carol. And this is over 100 years old.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah, I found it recently.
Jessica
and
sent me something. My wife sent me something on the origin of the 12 Days of Christmas and how
Yeah.
actually just
That's a
biblical.
didactic,
How biblical and how much in the origins, scripturally, the 12
it
Days
was
of
like a
Christmas
musical catechistic
It really was.
way
Yeah.
of communicating, I think in places where maybe there was more persecution,
Yeah. Yeah. So I just,
to kind of hide the meaning while still retaining the
yeah,
meaning.
really is. Yeah. Just interesting how much we don't know about certain things.
So anyway, I think technically, Rob,
Yeah.
you may like Christmas carols, because Christmas carols historically were the songs that you're talking about that you like.
Yeah.
Santa Baby's not a Christmas carol.
No, it's not. I mean, so I don't mind. I don't mind the ones that are, let's call them Jesus centric. I don't mind those.
Yeah.
I don't like the ones that aren't. I just don't. I mean, I tire of them so quickly.
So, God Rest You Merry Gentlemen,
I'm
that's a
fine. Good-
classic Christmas carol.
Good King Wenceslas. My boys hate it. 'Cause
yeah,
I
that's a
always I like the
classic
tune,
Christmas
but
carol song.
that's a very classic one. And I actually, because I like, for some reason, that tune just, it really relaxes me. I don't know why.
Sure.
But I actually went and did the etymology of that song, and that song is actually so very deep by the way. That
You
song
you
is,
you pursued the history of
yeah, I
it?
did, and it's actually a very deep spiritual song, and it's based in truth
Which
of
one?
Good King Wenceslas.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and it's but the
Do you know what the
truth,
Feast of Stephen was or is?
the Feast of Stephen is actually, so I know
I
about the
shouldn't put
person.
you on the spot.
No, it's
Sorry.
okay. No, no, no. I know about Good King Wenceslas, but the Feast of
Yeah.
Stephen, and I think it's the feast that is it the one of the church. I don't remember whether it's a Catholic church or not.
L-
That they observe for is it the poor? I think
Yeah, and it's based on Stephen the Martyr in
the
the Book
Stephen
of
Martyr. Yeah, I
Acts.
knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you look at that song, and I'll just leave it because I don't want to spoil. If you ever want to look, that song talks so much about really, in a sense, who God is and what He expects of us, and literally leading by example and not doling out your responsibilities because you simply have the ability to. And I was
Yeah.
I was so impressed by that song, and but also when it talks about the help that God gives us as we do it. It's amazing when you actually break that song down. It's very interesting. So it just gave me an interesting, a deeper appreciation for one that we don't sing that much. Evidently, it's very very big in Britain, but we don't sing it as much. But I do like that song. But yes, to your point, I may like Christmas carols more than I say, but it's certain ones. So,
Yeah,
but
I
anyway,
hear you.
we've talked a lot about Christmas and we've talked about
We
New
have.
Year's.
I think we didn't mean to do that, but we
No,
did.
but it's just ended up being where it goes. But to get into a little bit of what's been going on in the world since
Yeah.
we last spoke, there's been some. There was a uh, the Trump administration has gone and done some strikes in Nigeria, and we say that because we're
Yeah.
very. I don't want to call it Nigeria sensitive because it's not sensitivity. We have ties to people we know in Nigeria,
Yes.
so we care a lot about Nigeria and
Yes.
those who are suffering there. And so there were some strikes in Nigeria. Russell, I think you had made some inquiries and some calls and some things, so you have some information on that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I checked in with some people that I know there, and to find out from a few people colloquially, what is the perception, what's going on, what are people thinking, and of course, the short answer is the Christian people are very grateful. And I think it was good that they saw that our president not only said he was going to do something, but that he actually did what he was going to
right.
say, or he actually did what he said he was going to do. And so yeah, there's a very positive reception to that on the part of the Christians who have been very concerned about the attacks on Christian communities and really the false information that has attempted to go out concerning whether there's actually Christian genocide happening there or not. It is happening there, or
Yeah.
has been. And this is a massive step in the right direction towards stopping that.
Well, and I think, the idea is, again, um, I know, and we reference all of our people that we have working with us, and Travis made a comment and he said, a lot of times when you're dealing with people with, let's call it the radical Islamists, they only understand shows of strength. When you try to
Uh-huh.
negotiate, when you try to do that, he said, one of the reasons I kind of Travis was in the military. Travis has dealt with this stuff firsthand, so Travis has a unique perspective. And so, but he's like they really don't seem to understand negotiate. They will use it to their advantage. But he said what they seem to really understand and kind of go, okay, well, we'll hang on a minute, is shows of strength. Now that doesn't mean you just go in and but when you say I'm going to do something and then you do it.
Yeah.
So that to me is something where I think that was important when he said, I'm going to, if this doesn't stop, if the government doesn't do something, then I'm going to do I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And then he followed it up so that they know, well, and they make their choices. And if they do more, then, more will fall, but they know then he's not going to just keep moving the line back. Well, I told you, well, okay, well, just no more, and they know that this is the line. And if you cross the line, then there will be consequences for that line. So I think he's put them on notice that, hey, when I say something, I will follow through. So at least it lets them know, but it also lets the Christians in Nigeria know that if I say something, I'm going to do it as well. So it
Yeah.
lets them know that, hey, there is somebody there who is going to follow through with what they say. And so it gives them hope as well, I think. So,
Yeah, the perception has been for a long, long time in Nigeria that no one cares about Nigeria.
right.
Well, that wasn't shown this time.
Sure.
And I think it is, it's an, I think some people there are still taking it in. Like
Yeah.
we're not used to this. You know, we're not used to somebody having our back like this. So
Well, and I
it's a
think,
good thing.
yeah. And I think if you look at it really, part of the reason I think that hey, we feel like nobody cares about us in Nigeria is if you look, there's not an economic impact that Nigeria has on us. Now, there is a human impact because every life matters. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
I'm talking about whoever we're talking about here. Because again, you and I are both of the belief that, God is our creator. And so God values life. So every life, those lives matter. But it is one of those things that a lot of decisions, and this is this is kind of a cynical view, but it seems to be the case that a lot of what gets, brought to the forefront is because it has some kind of economic advantage, disadvantage, or whatever to us.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
yeah.
you
It's
know,
one of the scourges of our country and
yeah,
of Western civilization. And, I love our country.
yeah,
To the bottom of my heart, I love it.
yeah,
And I love Western civilization. I love what the Judeo-Christian ethic has helped to build. But the fact of the matter is, there is like any ideology, there is a way to misuse something like capitalism in
right,
in a bad way. That's not to say I think capitalism is bad. I think capitalism is a tool,
right,
and it can be used for good. But when we hear, and you've heard this, a lot of us have heard this, when you hear people say things like, "Well, I don't want the president to focus overseas. I want him to focus on the prices and on the economy here." Look, both things can happen at the same time. It's a either or fallacy to say don't focus on that because you must focus on this. But when people are talking like that, that really does kind of show where the heart of a nation is. And when the heart of a nation is putting money ahead of people that way,
yeah,
there's a problem. There really is a problem.
sure. And I think like with anything, with everything really, it's a double-edged sword, and we have to be careful. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It's your greatest strength can also be your biggest weakness if you're not careful. It's one of
Everything is
those.
in how you
Right,
apply it and what is your motivation.
right.
And I would say, who is your motivation?
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. And so,
What else, brother?
well, I think really we spent so much time on the on the updates and everything else. We're right at about the time we wanted to kind of cut. We can pay some bills though. I'll tell you that. Let's pay some bills.
All right. That
Um,
sounds good to me.
one of our sponsors on Off Topic on Point is Mountain Mowers LLC. And if you are in the Tri-County areas, they're your local expert for keeping your yard looking its best. Whether it's mowing, trimming, or full lawn care, Mountain Mowers has you covered with eligible service and a personal touch. They know every yard is different, and they treat yours like their own. If you're ready for a lawn that stands out without all the hassle, call Mountain Mowers LLC today at 276-730-8230. Mountain Mowers. They cut grass, not corners. And that is a weird thing even now, though, to talk about. Because I was just talking with him the other day, and he hasn't touched a mower since November, but that doesn't mean you can't call him and get an early estimate on getting your grass or having them be your landscape people for when the spring thaw happens, and all of a sudden the grass comes back. Because I know right now people are saying, I'm not worried about my grass. I don't got to worry about that because it's dormant and it's freezing and it's cold. But you can get a head start for the spring and who knows, I don't know. I'm not saying this, but you can get that early deal maybe. Who knows? You can talk to them. But anyway, we love Mountain Mowers, and so give them a call and get ahead on next year. So
Tell them to open a branch down here. They'll have 12 months a year business.
that's right. I'm telling you right now, we'll have them franchise out. So
Absolutely.
I don't know. I might have to change the name from mountain mowers, though. I tell you what, because San
Well,
Antonio is
they
so
can just
flat.
create a plains
That's it.
plains mower division down here.
We'll call it flat mountain mowers.
Hill country. Hill country. There we go, because we're near the hill country here.
That's right. We'll talk about it. But no. So anyway, I guess we'll wrap it up for this episode. We've got more to talk about. We just got caught up in the merriment of the season, I guess. Is what we'll call it. So tell us about your New Year's resolutions. We'd love to hear them. Tell us if you have any fun stories from the holidays. Put it in the comments. We'd love to read about them, or email us your stories. And who knows, you may find yourself being read on the air on the next episode of Off Topic on Point. And always remember, you don't have to stay on topic. You can be off topic, but you must always be on point. We'll talk to you guys next time. Have a good new year, and we will see you next time on Off Topic on Point. Have a good evening, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening today to Off Topic on Point. We want to remind you of our email address if you'd like to contact us. It's otopnow@gmail.com. That's otopnow@gmail.com. And as always, we want to leave you with this. It's okay to be off topic. Just make sure you're always on point. All right. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.